Now this is cerebrum. Cerebrum consists of two cerebral hemispheres and which are separated by a deep median longitudinal fissure. Each cerebral hemisphere consists of three surfaces. This is supralateral surface. This is medial surface which is separated from the supralateral surface by the supromedial border. The border which separates the superior aspect from the medial surface is this one is supralateral border, and this is inferior surface of the cerebral hemisphere, and this border is infralateral border which separates the lateral aspect of the cerebral hemisphere from the inferior surface. Now this one is occipital pole, this is frontal pole, and this one is temporal pole. 5 centimeter anterior to occipital pole on the infralateral border, this is preoccipital notch. Each cerebral hemisphere is divided into numerous folds called gyri by the fissures which are called sulci. So various sulci which separates the gyri. Now few of the important sulci. These sulci and gyri divide the each cerebral hemisphere into different lobes. First of all, this is central sulcus. Central sulcus starts at the supromedial border and runs downwards and forwards obliquely and ends just above the posterior ramus of lateral sulcus. This area anterior to central sulcus, this is frontal lobe, and this area behind, this is parietal lobe. On the medial surface, we can see two important sulci. This is parieto-occipital sulcus, which again indents the supromedial border and runs downwards, and this is calcarine sulcus. We take two imaginary lines on the supralateral surface. One line is drawn from supromedial border where the parieto-occipital sulcus joins the supromedial border up to preoccipital notch, and another line from the posterior ramus of lateral sulcus up to this first line, and these two lines divide the supralateral surface into four lobes. Central sulcus anterior, this is frontal lobe, this is parietal lobe up to this imaginary line. Below the imaginary line and posterior ramus of central sulcus, this is temporal lobe, and posteriorly this is occipital lobe. Lateral sulcus starts at the inferior surface, and this part of lateral sulcus is called stem of the lateral sulcus. It divides the inferior surface into orbital part, and this posterior part is called tentorial part of the inferior surface. When this lateral sulcus reaches the supralateral surface, it divides into three rami: the anterior horizontal, anterior ascending, and the large posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus. This posterior ramus separates the frontal and then parietal lobes from the inferior part, temporal lobe. Now anterior to central sulcus, this is precentral sulcus. This gyrus is precentral gyrus. This is superior frontal sulcus and this is inferior frontal sulcus, and these two sulci divide the frontal lobe into superior, middle and inferior frontal gyri. Posterior to central sulcus, this part is parietal lobe. Just behind the posterior central sulcus, this is post central sulcus, and the gyrus between the two is post central gyrus. This is intraparietal sulcus, which divide the parietal lobe into superior parietal lobule and inferior parietal lobule. On the temporal lobe below the posterior ramus of lateral sulcus, this is superior temporal sulcus and this is inferior temporal sulcus, which divide the temporal lobe into superior, middle and inferior temporal gyri. This inferior temporal gyrus is continued onto inferior surface of the cerebral hemisphere. Then behind this imaginary line, this part is occipital lobe of the cerebral hemisphere. This is occipital pole and inconstant lunate sulcus, which separates the occipital pole from the remaining occipital lobe of the brain. This is medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere. Corpus callosum. Just above the corpus callosum, this is callosal sulcus. This is cingulate sulcus, and the upturned posterior margin of cingulate sulcus is marginal sulcus. This is very important gyrus, cingulate gyrus. Now you can see the central sulcus, which is present on the superolateral surface, also indents the medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere, and the area between the precentral sulcus and postcentral sulcus, this area is called paracentral lobule. Now anterior to paracentral lobule, this whole area above the cingulate gyrus, this is called medial frontal gyrus. And then from behind the paracentral lobule up to parieto-occipital sulcus, this area is called precuneus. And then from the parieto-occipital sulcus up to calcarine sulcus, this area is called cuneus. So medial frontal gyrus, paracentral lobule, precuneus and cuneus, these are the parts which are present on the medial surface of cerebral hemisphere. This is stem of lateral sulcus, which divides the inferior surface into this anterior orbital part, while this part is called tentorial surface. On the orbital surface of cerebral hemisphere, we can see this is olfactory bulb and olfactory tract of the olfactory nerve, and the sulcus which is related to this nerve, this is called olfactory sulcus, while this gyrus which is present medial to olfactory sulcus is gyrus rectus or straight gyrus. Then lateral to olfactory sulcus, this orbital surface is divided into orbital gyri by the various orbital sulci. This is olfactory bulb and olfactory tract. Posteriorly, this olfactory tract divides into lateral and medial olfactory stria, and between this area is called anterior perforated substance. Now this is inferior surface of the cerebral hemisphere. Inferior surface is divided into two parts by the stem of lateral sulcus. Now this is orbital part of inferior surface, and this is tentorial part or tentorial surface in the inferior part. This surface we have already discussed in the tentorial part. Now this sulcus, this is collateral sulcus, and medial to collateral sulcus, this gyrus is called parahippocampal gyrus, and the anterior interned part, this is called uncus, and uncus is separated laterally by a sulcus that is called rhinal sulcus. So this is uncus with rhinal sulcus, and this is parahippocampal gyrus with collateral sulcus. Now this is occipito-temporal sulcus, which divides this rest of the tentorial surface into medial and lateral occipito-temporal gyri, and the inferior temporal gyrus is continued onto inferior surface of the cerebral hemisphere. Now this part is called cerebellum. This is inferior surface of the cerebellum. Anteriorly, the cerebellum is related to brainstem. On the inferior surface of cerebellum, there is deep depression, which is called vallecula, and it separates the two cerebellar hemisphere. This elevation on each side present on the cerebellar hemisphere, this is called tonsil. On this anterior aspect, which is related to brainstem, this part is called flocculus. This is a horizontal fissure which separates the superior surface from the inferior surface. Now this is one cerebellar hemisphere, and this is superior surface of the cerebellar hemisphere. This midline elevation is called vermis. Then the fissure which separates the anterior lobe from the posterior or middle lobe is called primary fissure. It is not well marked on this model. Then posterior to this is posterior or middle lobe, and the small lobe which is called flocculus, which is present here. This is called flocculus. Collectively, flocculus with nodule, it forms flocculonodular lobe. On this aspect, this appearance is called arbor vitae. This is tonsil, and this is posterior or middle lobe of the cerebellar hemisphere. This part of brain is called brainstem. It consists of three parts: medulla oblongata, pons, and midbrain. This is anterior view of the brainstem. First of all, medulla oblongata. On the anterior surface of medulla oblongata, this is anterior median fissure. On each side, this elevation is called pyramid. This pyramid is separated from another elevation. This elevation is called olive. Between the olive and pyramid, rootlets of 12th cranial nerve, that is hypoglossal nerve, it is attached. Then behind, this is olive. Then behind the olive, we can see from above downward, this is 9th, 10th and 11th cranial nerves. These are attached to posterolateral sulcus through rootlets. Then this is pons medulla junction, and at the junction we can see three nerves from medial to lateral side. This is abducent or 6th cranial nerve, this is 7th or facial nerve, and this is vestibulocochlear nerve. These three nerves emerge at the pontomedullary junction. Now this is anterior surface of the pons. Anterior midline, there is basilar groove for the basilar artery, and on anterolateral aspect of the pons, a fifth or trigeminal nerve is attached through two motor and sensory roots with the anterolateral surface of the pons. Now this part is midbrain. On each side we can see the crus cerebri of midbrain, and between this area is called interpeduncular fossa. The floor of the fossa is pierced by numerous vessels, that's why it is called posterior perforated substance. We can see the third or oculomotor nerve on each side, which emerges from the medial aspect of the crus cerebri. This is posterior aspect of the medulla oblongata. We can see the fasciculus gracilis with an elevation in the upper called gracile tubercle. This is fasciculus cuneatus with an upper part and elevation called cuneate tubercle. Now this is middle cerebellar peduncle, which connects the pons with the cerebellum. Now brainstem in sagittal section. In this we can see this is medulla oblongata, pons and a crus cerebri of midbrain with interpeduncular fossa. This is called a medulla, and this is a central canal of the medulla. This is pons, the anterior basilar part, then tegmentum, and this is cavity of the fourth ventricle behind the upper part of medulla and pons. This is cavity of fourth ventricle. This is inferior medullary vellum, and this is superior medullary vellum. This part is called, this is cerebellum, and this appearance is called arbor vitae. This elevation is a tonsil, and this is the inferior cerebellar surface which we can see in this view. Then this part is midbrain. Now this is superior colliculus, and we can see superior colliculus. This is inferior colliculus. This part of midbrain is called tectum. This is cerebral aqueduct, and this part is part of midbrain. Crus cerebri, tegmentum, tectum, and cerebral aqueduct. Now this is medial aspect of the cerebral hemisphere, and this part is called corpus callosum. Below the corpus callosum we can appreciate a few of the structures related to diencephalon. First of all, the parts of corpus callosum. This part is called rostrum. This part is called genu. Then this is body or trunk of the corpus callosum and splenium. Rostrum, genu, trunk or body, and splenium. Then below the corpus callosum, this is called septum pellucidum. This part is called fornix. This is fornix. Then below the fornix, this is choroid plexus of the third ventricle, and this is medial wall of the thalamus, which is forming the lateral wall of third ventricle. This is interthalamic adhesion. Thalamus is separated from the hypothalamus by the hypothalamic sulcus. This is hypothalamic sulcus. Now below the rostrum, this part is called anterior commissure. On the cut section we can see this as anterior commissure. Below the anterior commissure, this is lamina terminalis, and lamina terminalis ends where? At the optic chiasma. So this is optic chiasma. Now below the hypothalamic sulcus, this part is hypothalamus, and we can appreciate few structures which are present in the inferior part or inferior wall of the hypothalamus. From anterior to posterior aspect, on the lateral view, this is optic chiasma, tuber cinerarium with pituitary stalk, and mammillary body. Anteriorly it is limited by anterior commissure and lamina terminalis, and posterosuperiorly from the thalamus by hypothalamic sulcus, and posteriorly it is limited by up to posterior border of mammillary body or posterior perforated substance. Now we can see few structures in the posterior part. This is pineal body or pineal gland. This is posterior commissure. The pineal body is attached through pineal stalk, and this is superior and inferior lamina of pineal stalk. Inferior lamina is traversed by posterior commissure, and this is the location of habenular commissure. And now you can see this ridge, this one. This is called stria medullaris thalmi. Bundle of fibers, आप पढ़ चुके हैं इसको. This is stria medullaris thalmi coming towards the habenular trigon, and this is pineal body. Below the posterior commissure we can see again the superior colliculus and inferior colliculus. So this is corpus callosum, septum pellucidum, fornix, choroid plexus. This is basically cavity of third ventricle, and we can see the lateral wall of third ventricle, or we can say the medial wall of thalamus. This is thalamus, interthalamic adhesion, hypothalamic sulcus, and this is hypothalamus, posterior commissure, anterior commissure, lamina terminalis, optic chiasma, tuber cinerarium with infundibulum, and this is mammillary body. Now same structures from the inferior view. This is optic nerve which form optic chiasma. This optic chiasma. This is a pituitary stalk or infundibulum attached to tuber cinerarium, and these are two mammillary bodies. These are the structures which are present in the floor of third ventricle or on the inferior aspect of hypothalamus, and this is the only part of diencephalon which is exposed in the intact brain specimen or in the brain model.